Welcome to SAT with Piriyev lessons. I'm Kamran, Piriyev. I teach SAT Verbal, and I'm really excited to be with you today to talk through standard English conventions, which is one of the two main question categories on SAT writing. In the previous lesson, we learned about the structure of the SAT and the types of the questions on SAT Verbal. So please feel free to check it out on our YouTube channel or Facebook page by clicking on the link above. Now let's start our new lesson. SAT Verbal is composed of two main parts. First is reading and the next is writing. Writing itself is composed of two main question categories. First is standard English conventions and the second one is expression of ideas. Today we're going to take a look at standard English conventions. We also call it grammar section. Standard English conventions questions require you to edit passages for usage, sentence structure, and punctuation. This is the first part of the lessons based on standard English conventions, and in this part we're going to take a look at the conventions of usage. Conventions of usage. This subcategory calls on knowledge and skills associated with common practices in formal, well-edited English writing. The first question type in that subcategory is called agreement. Agreement questions ask you to recognize and correct problems in agreement between subject and verb, between pronoun and antecedent, and between nouns. Antecedent is a word or phrase that a pronoun refers back to. For example, if I have to ask for your attention, then I don't even want it. In that sentence, attention is the antecedent of it, and it refers back to attention. Now let's have a look at our example. But before reading our example, I'd like to mention that in the next video lessons, we're gonna cover each question type in more detail. That's why today we are not going to delve into the explanation of each question type. Rather, we are just getting familiar with them. Now let's go back to our question, our example. As most magazines can attest, playing sports such as tennis and basketball requires not only mental ability but also physical strength. In that sentence, I have to make sure that my subject and verb agree in number. To do so, first of all, I have to find my subject. My subject is playing, and playing is a gerund. Gerunds are always singular, and according to the rule, singular verbs take singular nouns take singular verbs, and plural nouns take plural verbs. As my subject is singular, so my verb should be singular too. And only in choice A, my verb is singular. That's why the only correct answer is A. The next question type is called possessive determinants. These questions ask us to distinguish between and among possessive determinants, its, your, their, contractions, its, your, their, with an apostrophe, and adverbs, their. The next question type is called conventional expression. Here we have to identify and correct misused idioms as well as other standards of writing convention. I should emphasize that these questions cannot be done by applying a specific rule. You have to just rely on your general knowledge of English and your familiarity with certain phrases, with certain idioms. For example, in 2004, a Karabakh horse named Kishmish succeeded to set 2 speed records. He ran 1,000 meters in 1 minute 9 seconds and 1,600 meters in 1 minute 52 seconds. To do that question, I have to know that in English we say succeed in something or succeed in doing something. That's why the only correct answer is B, because it says succeeded in setting two speed records. A, C, D are out because they are not idiomatic in English. The next question type is pronoun clarity. Here we have to recognize and correct ambiguous pronouns. Ambiguous, it means not clear, unclear. For example, when Piriyev had a fierce debate with Putin and his team, he pointed out that war must be avoided at any cost. In this case, when I say he, it's not clear whether he refers back to Piriyev or Putin. That's why I have to make it clear for my audience, for my readers. When I say they and we, it's again not clear who they are, who we are. That's why the only correct answer, which makes my point clearly, it's C. Piriyev pointed out that war must be avoided at any cost. And by the way, teachers are much more peaceful than politicians are. Next question type is called logical comparison. Here we have to recognize and correct cases in which unlike terms are compared. For example, diseases of the soul are more dangerous and numerous than of body. To do that question, I have to bear in mind that the items we are comparing should be of the same category. So I can only compare diseases to diseases. That's why A and D out. They are out because diseases cannot be compared to a body or bodies. So I'm between B and C. C is out because for the sake of parallelism, I have to compare plural things to plural things. That's why the only correct answer is B. And the last question type in this subcategory is called frequently confused words. These questions ask us to distinguish between and among words that are commonly mistaken for one another. For example, illicit and illicit. They are homophones, which means they have the same pronunciation but they have different meanings. Illicit, starting with I, it means something illegal. And illicit, starting with E, it means to get or produce something, especially information. Well, that's the end of the first part of Standard English Conventions series. In the second part, we'll be covering sentence structure and conventions of punctuation. That's all we have for you today, and hopefully you found it helpful. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video lessons. Bye bye.